This is a little chat about the empathy from the point of enlightenment. When you have seen the oneness, the wholeness, when you are one with God, when you are source, when you are with creation and you understand it, you've been there. You don't need your body anymore. You understand what happens. Like if you die, you know that there's a consciousness within you that's still going to be there, and you can keep track of it. There's a deep feeling that awakens in you, that does something that, no matter how important something is, like, yeah, you don't think it's bad. You don't think like something bad is okay to go on. But at the same time, after it's done, while it's happening, you don't get too involved in getting over anxious or over tied up in the emotions, because it all passes. But when it comes to empathy, like, say, everything that has ever happened is part of your spiritual memory. It's like your history and spiritual history. And you can not only know what it's like to feel like that, you were once that, and you understand it because you don't want to see other people do that when you know better because you've experienced it. And since you've experienced it, you know where you're coming from. But empathy, most people call it empathy because a lot of people don't think they've experienced it before, at least not in this body. So therefore, they just think it's because they can relate. Which in some people, in their turn, I guess they can look at it that way. But it's deeper than that. It's more like your spirit is able to remember more of its spiritual history than others. Some people are deeper. Some people, maybe it's their diet. Maybe it's the minerals they take. Maybe it's the specific things that they ate that had higher life energies. I know those things sound wild, but that's how it is. Like you can get two of the same item and one lasts longer than the other because they're supposed to be manufactured the same, but not all items are the same. One molecule is never the same as the next molecule. They may be very close and almost identical, but they're never the same. So with that empathy, like when I hear like an old violin music, I think of like pioneer days, and I think of not only that, I think of days when we were forming governments and forming housing and forming all these new things, when we were so scared to face each other because we had so much, like, people think that, man, there's just so much. Like, to say human beings started off talking, we know better. Of course not. But, God didn't make man out of nothing. God made man out of the earth that we're standing on. Not out of nothing. We came from the earth, not out of the heavens. We've been extinct. Different planets have been extinct. And we've had other beings explain it to people on this planet. And they have relayed those messages, and they've been teachings that are ancient. Some are more new. Some seem weird to other people. But, those same ancient Sumerians that had visited and talked to people in those ancient days, or showed the new people how to do things the way old civilizations did it, or at least teach them certain things. We know that there's been interactions of those kind of that nature. Well, those things are all, of course, somebody walked up to my window and like looked in and like smiled, and I waved back at him. So now I just lost my spot, and I'm sorry. But I'm trying to think. Honestly, I can't remember exactly what I was saying, but let's just say, the Garden of Eden, it wasn't just like a man popped out, a woman popped out, and they were just sitting there eating and basking in the glory. No. That was the place where the vegetables, the plants, the foliage, the microorganisms, those things grew in order to make the body of man throughout time. But see, we didn't need time then because there was no people to believe in things. There was just organisms other than people who worked together in a certain way to make it happen. And now this awesome vehicle made of the earth and all the things that made us up is sort of backstabbing the earth that built us and the earth that we came from. It's like when we have kids and then they grow up to turn around to resent us and tell us that we're no good. Like, we do that to the earth. We do that to where we came from on a way deeper level than just our ego and who we are as people. This is like the way physical part. But then the way spiritual part is actually almost as easily explained, but we don't need to get into that until people start understanding one level of it. They don't understand one level of it yet. Most people don't have any idea or any interest in understanding. And I know it's hard to put it into words, but I know what the hell I'm talking about. So when I get the right words, everyone's going to just be blessed and instantly enlightened. But until that happens, I keep trying, because I know that what I'm seeing and experiencing and having happen in my life is real, because this has happened a million billion times to me. I've experienced them all. And in a non-time sense, I can experience that and then come back and then have to wait for everything to work out in time. And it seems so boring and so slow. And it seems, why are people doing these dumb things? I'm watching these people do such dumb things. And I'm thinking, if I was that person, I would know better than to do that, because it's not good for me. And it's making me look really, really insecure or really disrespectful, and I'm being so dumb. Like, I see that, and I don't understand why people don't see that in themselves, but they don't, because that's their level of consciousness. A lot of guys, like, they're like, hey man, fuck you buddy, fuck up pussy, fuck you man. Like, those guys, they have no idea how ignorant and how unconscious they really are. And I'm not trying to put them down, because they're awesome. I mean, I used to talk like that when I was a jock. But there's some people who are in their 50s, 60s, 70s that are still that way. I would say people who, like most sport fanatics, are stuck in a mentality of jockism, which they need to get out of, because it's not doing anything good for their future or for the future of our existence. And some people don't want to have some meaningful existence, and that's their right. But if that's what they're doing, then get out of the way for the people who want to do something better for our people. Because whether they like it or not, this is for their future too, for their next life, for their children to come, all that shit. So when people are disrespectful and totally blow off the fact that they could easily do something better with themselves, it gets a little annoying. So you're supposed to let them do it, I guess, because they don't want to listen to reason, and they don't want to listen to sense. They don't want to have any sense. You know, they have 5. Some people don't want to use the 6th one or the 7th one, and that's fine. But it's there, right there, for them to use. So, that's all I got to say for now. Peace.